Ang pag-uusapan natin sa video ito ay tungkol sa t-test. Ang t-test ay ginagamit kung gusto mo magkumpara ng dalawang means. Merong dalawang klase ng t-test. Ang t-test for independent sample, kung saan nagkukumpara ka ng means ng magkaibang grupo. For example, gusto mo ikumpara ang dalawang section or scores ng dalawang section. Ang t-test naman ng correlated samples is you are comparing the before and after treatment. For example, the pre-test and the post-test. Or kung gusto mo naman tungkol sa gamot, the before treatment and after the treatment. Sa video ito, magfo-focus tayo sa independent samples. For our t-test in two independent samples, ito ang ating formula. Our x-bar sub 1 is the mean of the first group. X-bar sub 2 is the mean of our second group. Ang SS sub 1 here is the sum of squares ng ating group 1. At yung SS sub 2 is the sum of squares of our group 2. Ang N sub 1 naman is yung sample size ng ating group 1. While N sub 2 is the sample size of our group 2. Let us have this example. Meron tayong 10 male and 10 female students na gusto nating ikumpara. We have the following scores for the male and the following scores for the female. Our problem here is there a significant difference between the scores of the male and female students? Our null hypothesis here is there is no significant difference between the scores of the male and female students. Or kung mathematical expression, we will use x bar sub 1 is equal to x bar sub 2. Our research hypothesis is there is a significant difference between the scores of male and female. Our mathematical expression, our x bar sub 1 is not equal to our x bar sub 2. For our level of significance, gagamitin natin ang 0.05. Sa t-test, kailangan natin hanapin yung degree of freedom para makita natin yung significant level or yung t-tabular value. Para makita natin ang t-tabular value, we need to solve the degree of freedom where we only add the two sample sizes or the number of observation. We have n sub 1 plus n sub 2 and then we subtract 2. So here in our problem, meron tayong 10 observation for the male and 10 observation for the female. So we have 20 minus 2 is equal to 18. Looking at our t-tabular value, since our degree of freedom is 18, and our level of significance is 0.05. Therefore, our t-tabular value, positive negative 2.101. So our decision rule here is kung greater than or beyond ng value na ito ang our t-computed value, then we need to reject the null hypothesis and we need to accept the research hypothesis. So in solving, gagawa tayo ng 4 na columns. One or the first column is for our male. We label that one as x sub 1. At the bottom of the table, we need to find the sum of all the scores of our male. We got 131. Tapos yung ating n or the sample size, we have 10 because there are 10 scores. So dito makukuha na natin yung ating mean ng ating x sub 1 or ng mga male. Because we only have to divide yung ating nakuhang total divided by n. So the mean of the first group is 13.1. On our second column is we are going to square the scores. And once again, after or the bottom of the column will be the sum of all the squares of the scores. So we get 1,891. Gagamitin natin yan mamaya sa ating solution. Next, sa ating third column, ang ating x sub 2 naman, kung saan ilalagay natin yung scores ng ating mga female respondents. The same with our first group, we will find the total. So, ang total ng lahat ng scores nila is 78. Then, the sample size or kung ilang respondent ang meron ka, which is 10, we then divide our total scores divided by 10 to get your mean of the second group. So, 78 divided by 10 is equal to 7.8. Para sa ating ika-4 na column, we need to find the square of the scores. And once again, itotal natin lahat yan. And we got 738. We will now proceed with our first computation kung saan isa-solve natin yung sum of squares ng ating group 1. The formula that we are going to use is, una, the summation of the squares, so yung nasa ikalawang column, minus yung square ng sum natin dun sa ating first column divided by our n. So sa ating second column, we got 1,891. Then we substitute minus yung sum ng first column, which is 131. Remember to put it in a parenthesis kasi isa-square pa natin siya. Divided by our n, which is 10. So, una natin munang isolve yung nasa parenthesis natin. We have 1,891 minus 131 squared, tapos i-divide natin sa 10. We got 1,716.1. Subtracting the 2, we got 174.9. Bakit hindi tayo nag-round off? The more na meron tayong decimal, the more na mas accurate ang ating data. Kung i-round off natin, posible na mas malaki ang error ng data mo. So, leave it as it is. Let us now proceed to solving the SS sub 2 or the sum of square ng ating group 2. The same, we find yung solution ng ating fourth column minus square nung ating third column divided by the n. We substitute 738 minus 78 squared all over 10. So our sum of squares sub 2 is 129.6. So we finally have our value. We can now proceed with the substitution sa ating formula for the t-test. So una sa ating numerator, x bar sub 1 minus x bar sub 2. So ito yung mga mean ng ating mga group. So meaning, mean of the first group, which is 13.1, minus the mean of the second group, which is 7.8. Sa atin namang denominator, unang parentheses sa loob ng ating square root is our SS sub 1 added to our SS sub 2. So we only copy 174.9 plus yung ating 129.6 all over ang ating degree of freedom, which can be obtained by adding the 2n or the sample size tapos i-minus mo ng 2. For the second parenthesis sa loob na to, you only have to put the n sub 1 and n sub 2 on the denominator. So 1 all over n sub 1 plus 1 all over n sub 2. Both have 10. Dahil meron tayong random sampling, posible na hindi magkapareho ang ating sample size. So, kailangan i-indicate kung ilan ang sample size ng ating first group and our second group. Solving the following will give us the t-computed value of 2.88. So, ano ang conclusion natin? Since our computed value is 2.88, which is beyond our t-tabular value kanina, which is 2.101, at 0.05 level of significance with 18 degrees of freedom, ang ating null hypothesis is rejected, and our research hypothesis is accepted. What does this mean? This means that there is a significant difference between the scores ng ating male and female group. Now, what does this implies? Kung makikita natin or i-compare natin ang average ng ating male and female, the male performs better than the female because their average mean is 13.1, while the female only got 7.8. For our t-test and correlated samples, hanapin lamang ito sa ating Learning Statistics playlist. Yan lamang sa video ito. Do give this a thumbs up kung nakatulong. Meron namang katanungan, suggestions, do comment down below. Ka ba nakapag-subscribe sa channel ko? And hit the notification bell para hindi mo ma-miss ang mga updates bagong uploaded videos. Yan lamang and happy learning!